Welcome back to another episode of Dental Marketing Theory. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the founder of SMC National, where we help you create, convert, and close more new patients so you can grow the way that you want, but you can't grow if people are hacking your office. Today, I have Reuben, who's the CEO of Dark Horse, and he works with over 1,100 offices, and he's going to break down why Aspen has been hacked, why Henry Schein has been hacked 3 times, why Change Health has been hacked, why Delta and how they got hacked, and how it impacts your offices. And he's also going to share with you what the biggest holes are in dental offices. And he's going to do it in a way, I promise you, it's not confusing. You're going to be able to understand it. If I can understand it, you can understand it. So you're going to want to stay tuned to this one because more than likely, your office is very vulnerable. Stay tuned.
These are big, juicy targets that the most talented groups are going after. There is some security in just being a small guy.
One thing that I've seen tons of offices do is that they hate paying for branded emails, right? So it's like Gary at SMC National. Dentists are like, wait, how much are those HIPAA compliant, security emails? Is that a big problem? Like everybody using just like their Yahoo or Gmail personal accounts that they do?
6% of the entire dental industry dealt with ransomware last year, which is a gigantic number. But you put 100 people in a room, 6 of them are definitely going to be idiots.
I'm excited about this one because we were just talking behind the scenes and I was like, stop, Reuben, I don't want to talk anymore behind the scenes. I want to hit record. And he was like, nobody's going to be protected. No one's protected. Everybody's fair game. And so I want to talk with you. So Aspen's been hacked. Henry Schein's been hacked 3 times. Change Health just got hacked and paid 300 Bitcoin, hundreds of millions or $20 million or whatever that is. And then Delta, 22 million. No small. Hopefully, like I told you, hopefully they bought the Bitcoin at the lower like a year ago at like 30,000 at the dip. Yeah. It would have saved them a lot of money, but I'm not sure if they did that or not. And then Delta Dental got hacked in California as well. So being that you're an IT professional, you work with tons of offices, you are helping protect these offices. What in the world is going on?
All right. Lessons, right? We always want to learn something from each one of these things so that we can take it away. These are all big targets. Usually the small targets you never hear about, right? A single dental office gets hacked. You don't really hear about it. But the big splashy stuff, that's stuff we can actually learn. Hey, what did they do? What did they not do to bolster your cybersecurity and HIPAA compliance profile, right? Those are linked together, what we should be doing. So if we go back to Aspen Dental, the scope of this, 1,000 offices affected plus. They internally hosted their cloud environment for all of their offices in their headquarters in the Midwest, and they were attacked and breached because an employee clicked on an email, right? Email looks like it's come from Aspen CEO. Hey, you got to click on this. I need you in my office. Clicks on it. And all of these attacks are ransomware, as we were talking about before we started recording, and why it's so simple, but yet so effective, right? They're taking how we do backups and reverse engineering and turning it into a weapon. So you click on that email, seems harmless enough. That downloads a payload that self-propagates like any good virus. And now all of your files, they're still there, but they are modified and locked, right? So that Word document, that Open Dental database, that EagleSoft database, you can still see it. It's just got a new name. And without this 66-digit encryption key or decryption key, you can't access it. So first lesson of cybersecurity. If someone is paying ransom, they didn't have backups or their backups were set up improperly. Because Gary, if you have backups and you get ransomware, you'd be like, oh, that's a pain in the butt. You kick them out of the system, you restore from a backup. You don't have to pay anything. So if you ever read like Change Healthcare, we know 100% no backups, or they set up their backups in a way where they were going to be affected by that virus along with their system. So Aspen Dental email, chronologically, the next thing happens is Henry Schein gets hit by a hacker group called Black Cat. And those are the same guys that hit Change Healthcare, right? Yeah. So these guys, some people are saying, these guys are very sophisticated, right? This is not, they didn't like leave the back door open, but they exploited something that was available. Henry Schein, same thing as Aspen, phishing email. Employee clicked on it, propagated throughout the network. It took down their ordering website and their warehouse mechanism, right? So people's Dentrix Ascend was still working, but you couldn't go on and order supplies from Henry Schein. Crazy. They thought they kicked him out of the system. So they told the hackers, like, sorry, like, we're not paying your thing. And the hackers were still in the system. They re-encrypted their system, right? You think twice was enough, Gary? They did it again. They're like, no, I think we got you out this time. And they hit them one more time. So Schein had to pay a ransomware. All right. Again, backups. Backups.
Did they not fix it? Did they fix it, or did they not fix it, or did they fix it and the people just got more sophisticated on hacking them? Like, why would you get hit 3 times the same way? Sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to make sure that you're going to DICOMA 2024. It's July 10th through the 12th, and guess what? We are going to be speaking on the main stage, and we're going to be hosting a boot camp as well, and we want to give away some free tickets. So how do you win these free tickets? You go to smcnational.com. Again, that's smcnational.com. Click the little bar that says enter to win free DICOMA, and then you submit your information, and everybody's a winner. We're going to be giving a discount to everybody who enters, and we're going to be giving away some free tickets to the conference itself and to the boot camp. Make sure you sign up for these right away. Back to the show.
They thought they got them out of the system, right? So the group that they hired to come in to, like, you know, be the white hats, come in, clean it all up, left a foothold remaining in there. So then, you know, you can imagine some Schein executive is you know, messaging the black hat guys like, hey, sorry, but go pound dirt. We're good. And they're like, oh, really? That's funny. Click. Schein's a $13 billion company. They'll be fine. But lessons to learn on email. Now, Change Healthcare, Delta Dental, those are kind of the most recent things that have happened. Delta Dental is going to be another one in the line of email, right? Email phishing. Some people call it spear phishing when it's more sophisticated, where it's really custom tailored. And now with AI the way it is and how you can customize everything, like it's all this stuff is changing really, really quick.
Yeah.
But Change Healthcare just happened, and that one was actually a little bit different. It's a more of a traditional hack where Change Healthcare uses a remote access tool called Screen Connect, and instead of going and doing what you should do at a company your size, get the cloud-based version, the one that gets updated in real time, they did a self-hosted solution and left their database unupdated for years. So the whole reason people come out with updates is because some smart researcher found a way into the system, and then they release a patch, right? Windows, this happens all the time. So they left this system unupdated for 2 years. A vulnerability was discovered, and they were victims of this. It's been a busy 365 days.
It's been really busy. Okay, so the first thing that pops into my head as I listen to all this is, if I was a dental office, I'd be super scared, because if they can hack Aspen, if they can hack Henry Schein, if they can hack Change Healthcare, they can hack Delta Dental, they can hack me, the guy with 2 offices or 5 offices, right? Like, so what? And I know this is where your really bread and butter is that this is the kind of offices you help these smaller groups. How are you protecting them against this kind of stuff?
Absolutely. So there is is a term in cybersecurity called security through obscurity, right? And it's nothing to do with products. It's to do with Aspen, Schein. These are big, juicy targets that the most talented groups are going after, right? So there is some security in just being a small guy or a group, right? That's number one. Number two, the good news, and I started Dark Horse 12 years ago, and we have not had to deal with ransomware, right? We have almost 1,100 individual practices that we support, individual practice locations. Some of them are obviously tied up in groups. And this is not something our clients have to deal with, right? I don't have a magic potion. I just follow what the bare minimum is, honestly, and then you tweak it a little bit.
Is it easier to maintain the bare minimum when you're smaller versus the big guys? Is that where the weaknesses come in? Or is it just or is there more hacks going after the big guys because there's bigger money there? Like, a smaller office isn't going to pay you $20 million for, you know what I mean?
Right. You know what? I feel like with the DSOs I've been interacting with recently, it seems to be a renewed energy going towards cybersecurity that I haven't seen in the past. I don't know if it's related to these attacks, but if you're a single dental practice, you can absolutely afford a firewall, a backup system, antivirus software, and an IT guy, right? You can. Believe me, there's 1,100 of them that can afford it. If you do those basic things, you're almost, like 6% of the entire dental industry dealt with ransomware last year, which is a gigantic number. But you put 100 people in a room, 6 of them are definitely going to be idiots. So, don't be the 6, be, the 94%. Do what you need to do. And by the way, you should be doing this for HIPAA compliance anyway, and upholding, you have your patient's data. You have a set of rules by the federal government that says this is how you need to protect it. So if you do that, you should not have to deal with any of this stuff. A lot of these lessons are bravado, are corporations that treat IT as like, the redheaded stepchild, right? Have just invested in their infrastructure because it's not sexy, Gary. It's roads and bridges, right? You just want to get in your car and drive.
No one gets the promotion in any position because you upgraded the cost for IT, but you do lose your job when you get hacked. Like people do lose their jobs over that.
Oh, it's a bloodbath. But if you make the CEO's laptop faster, you're golden for like 10 years.
Yeah, so that's an interesting point. It's because it's like, okay, so what's sexy? Sexy is more new patients, more top line revenue, more profitability. Those are all the things that everybody talks about. And then when you come to IT, it's like, who wants to talk about that? It's just an additional cost. It's just something more I have to pay for. So you're actually losing all the sexy things that we just talked about. But at the same time, again, like this is how you lose your business. This is how you lose your position. This is how you lose your company, is if you're hacked. So it's not that it's complicated. It's just, it doesn't get the attention it deserves. Would that be accurate?
Yeah. I just work for dentists, so that's kind of all I care about. There's a lot going on, right? There's a lot, especially, we work with startups and like the amount of decisions that go into it and the amount of, you get 3 quotes from different IT providers. You get like a quote from me and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to cut any corners. And then you get on a phone with like a single guy and he's like, you don't have to do anything like that. It's only $90. And you're fighting for your life. You're starting your practice. I understand why people make these decisions. But the degree of difficulty it is to implement a system where you will never have to deal with this, it's remedial, right? It's cookie cutter. So the problem, Gary, in IT, and I don't know if you know any other industries like this where it's like there's no standard, right? There is HIPAA compliance, which is the standard, but it's almost like dentists don't pay attention to that. They just pay attention to so I'll give a dentist a quote that will cover them with everything they need to do. And then the dentist will get another quote from a guy who's not doing anything besides support. And he's like, why is it so much more expensive? Aren't you guys doing the same thing? So we run into a lot of, it's like an educational problem.
So let me explain this in a way that dentist would understand. It's like when your patient goes to your dental office, and you say, hey, you need a dental implant. Like this is not going to work. What's going on in your mouth? You need to do this. And then they go to another practice and they're like, oh no, we can just extract it. It'll be $200. I mean, both are true. You're not wrong, but it's more complicated than just extracting the tooth because then you lose bone density and then your face starts to look different and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Your other teeth begin to fail because there's a gap there now. Like there's so many problems that causes. Now you as the dentist understand that, but the patient doesn't understand that. So they go, okay, do I want to pay $4,000 for the implant or $300 for the extraction? And so you have to know the right questions to ask, right? Like you have to know, okay, why is this guy $100 and this guy's $1,000? I'm making these numbers up. This guy's $1,000. You need to be able to work through that. So what are usually people missing when they kind of skimp on their IT?
I think they look at the quote and they immediately their eyes blur. Right. They don't even understand what's in the quote. And that's, that could be the wording's not clear. It's too complicated. They don't have any interest in this. Could be but like we try to provide a very simplistic proposal, like almost like a table of contents. And then, hey, if you click on this PDF, here's the backup system and here's the exact HIPAA compliance requirement it's meeting, right? And you go down through. So I would say if there's anything missing on a quote, number one, it's probably the firewall, right? And you think you have an internet, a pipe to the entire world. And if you don't have a firewall, it's just wide open, right? Your office is unprotected from everybody with a computer. So it's like almost like a missile defense system, right? We have this base on the westernmost Hawaiian island, Kauai, right? And it's ready. If North Korea lobs a missile over, it's going to shoot it down. That's the firewall's job, right? You got stuff flying at you, and it's going to knock it down before it even affects you, even gets in your practice. I'd say number two would be antivirus. Some people are just like, cool, I don't need it. It's included with the free version of Windows. Like, that's not really antivirus. But usually there's some sort of backup system. If it's encrypted, if it meets HIPAA compliance standards, that's up for whoever you hired. But
I got a question for you. What about one thing that I've seen tons of offices do is that they hate paying for emails, like branded emails, right? So it's like Gary at SMC National or Reuben at Dark Horse, right? .com.
Yeah.
Dentists are like, wait, how much are those HIPAA compliant, security emails? Is that a big problem? Like everybody using just like their Yahoo or Gmail personal accounts that they do?
Cute. Well, that's if you ever get an email in any healthcare setting and it's at Gmail, at Yahoo, at AOL, at any of these free, you already know that their email address is not HIPAA compliant. So it's so cheap to do it right. Yeah. Like I think if you go to G Suite, it's like $6 to $7 an email and you get all of those apps along with it, Sheets and Docs and everything. Microsoft's probably $4. It's not expensive to do the right thing, but
it has to be though. It has to be like 80% of the dental industry is not on those. Because,
Gmail, free Gmails all over the place.
All over the place. And the reason I know that is I've always kind of noticed it, but I never put much thought into it. But we moved to HubSpot, and HubSpot bases everything on the email. And it's like, oh no, we organize, and it can't organize anything for us because it's all fake Gmail or free Gmail. So it's like, sorry, you have to go through and manually categorize every single business, every single person you email. Everything has to be manually done because they're just like, we're not used to everybody having free Gmails.
No, you're absolutely right. I think startups do it right because they're so like in that branding mindset that they get the website, they get the business email, they tend to do it right. But the vast majority of existing offices that reach out to us for IT services are emailing me from a, mintfamilysmiles@gmail.com. Like,
fun
so
times.
that is our struggle, right? I'm sure dentists have the same struggle with patients, getting them to understand why they're doing what they're doing and why it costs that much. And I don't know, that's my burden. This is trying to educate the dental community. It's like HIPAA compliance, snore. Well, this is why you should really matter. We should really care about this stuff.
Yeah, you have to scare people into compliance, right? So it's like dentists are like, okay, you need a filling. The filling's going to cost $400, but if you don't get the filling, then you're going to have to get a root canal, which will be $1,500. And if you don't take care of the root canal, then you have to get a dental implant, which will be $4,000. So take care of the filling today. And basically what you're saying is, hey, pay the couple $100, pay the consultation fee to work with you or whatever it is to get started. And the one thing I love about you, Reuben, is like you will just talk to people. Like I've asked you questions and reached out to you and just bugged you like, how does this work? Why do you do this? Or how would you structure this? And you're just like, dude, here. So I love that about you. So if someone wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way to get in touch with you?
Our website, darkhorsetech.com/contact. You can fill out all your information there. That creates an email for us to respond to. You can you'll find me on Facebook, on Instagram, all over the place. And, something what you said, the scare tactic, I try to touch on what the downsides are, but it's not like this. But I was in this dental office and I saw a great treatment sale. They were talking about, this tooth, we got to take this tooth out. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that. Guess they go and they get the intraoral camera. Then they put the patient's own tooth on a 70-inch TV in front of them, shows them how disgusting. They're like, oh my God, get that out of my mouth. So I'm still looking for that in the IT world, but
I think you might have it with Aspen, Henry Schein, Change Health, Delta. If you're not catching on what's going on, because these guys, these bigger companies are going to secure up, and then the hackers move down the tree. Where's the next? If this is not low hanging fruit, where's the next low hanging fruit? And they keep working down. So got to have your house in order.
Healthcare data is very valuable, right? And they know it when they have it, right? The old ransomware, they weren't really sure. They just knew they hit a business in its IP address. You can kind of tell where they hit it, but they couldn't tell if it was a dental office or a car wash or a coffee shop. Those days are over. They know they have patient health information now when they encrypt an office, and the ransom payments are just getting ridiculous. So just skip that whole thing.
Just skip the whole thing. Talk to Dark Horse, get help from him. Reuben is a straight shooter. He'll tell you exactly what you need, what you don't need, and you can make an educated decision. I highly, highly recommend him. He didn't pay me to say this. I just know because I've worked with him in multiple different scenarios. So make sure you reach out to him, get your house in order if you haven't already. Thanks so much for coming on, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Gary.